Hi, I'm Dr. Zebroski, and I'm going to be teaching a practicum on global business and public policy this fall. The course will focus on the practice of business-government relations, and specifically how global companies advocate on policies involving international economics. We focus throughout the course on trade policy and investment policy, for example. And over the course of the class, we'll look at various advocacy tools that companies use in the practice of engaging in advocacy on public policy. And our focus will be on Washington, on how companies work with both the legislative branch and the executive branch. The skill sets that students will be able to refine, I think, are applicable to almost any profession they will go into. For example, we hope to refine people's critical thinking skills about how policy should be developed and how one should prioritize policies to pursue. We also focus on communication skills, both oral and written, in a business setting, which is somewhat different from what students are used to in going through classes normally. And finally, we also want to work on decision-making skills and leadership skills. A lot of work that's done in public policy involves achieving consensus or compromise among business groups. And learning how to do that in business settings is extremely important. So I think all of these skills will be honed. And whether one wants to go into the for-profit world or nonprofit world, the skills on advocacy are virtually the same. The course is considered a practicum because both my colleague and I have substantial experience in the world of business and also government. I worked for over 20 years for a major company as a lobbyist on international trade and investment issues here in Washington. And prior to that, I worked on Capitol Hill as a legislative aide, working on international trade, economic, energy, environment, and all sorts of other issues. More recently, I have worked for a consortium of graduate business schools teaching business leaders about the intersection of public policy and business here in Washington. So I've got very practical experience in this arena, and I've enjoyed working on this class, having taught it for about 6 years now, but having been a lobbyist mentor for it for the previous dozen years. The class has 2 professors, and I'll be teaching the first half of the semester and my colleague the second half, but we do team teach and we overlap during that period. Our expectation is that students will obviously listen to some lecture, but we also want to bring more experiential learning into it. And so we do have some reading assignments that we have from week to week, and that's generally timely articles and journal articles, that sort of thing. We have assignments for mock debates or mock coalition meetings, so students will be role-playing on at least 2 occasions during the course of the semester. We do bring in guest speakers because we do want people to have the opportunity to network with government relations professionals here in Washington from various companies, and also from trade associations which work on international trade issues. We've tried to have a couple of off-sites during the course of the semester. Recently, I've been very lucky to be able to bring students up to Capitol Hill to meet with the top trade policy staff person who works for the Ways and Means Committee in the House of Representatives. Finally, we also assign each student in the class to a government relations executive, and that executive will make an assignment independent of my colleague and me to the student, and the student will work on that during the course of the semester. And one of the final things that he or she will do is make a presentation to that government relations executive and his government relations office at the end of the semester, and it will be on an issue that's of importance to that particular company. For more information about the class, feel free to look at the syllabus that is up there from last year. This class this fall will be very similar to that. Also, if you have any questions, in addition to that, feel free to drop me an email.